RTR community, today we're going to be talking about passive income and the reasons why I feel like passive income is so powerful. Let's just dive right in. Number one is the most obvious, and that's time and energy is limited on an active income source. If you work a job, let's just say you make $100,000 a year at your job, and you like your job fine, but let's just say you've run the numbers and you need to make $1 million a year to reach your goals. Well, can you make that at your job? Can you duplicate yourself 10 times over? Most likely you can't, because most jobs require 40 hours of work, sometimes more. And so you do the math, you can't work 400 hours a week. It's just not enough hours in the day to do that. So what do? How do you solve that equation to get to $1 million of income a year without having to work 10 times as much? And the answer is passive income. I'm going to use an example of a rental real estate property. I go out there, I buy a property. It creates two things that are very important for our conversation today: cash flow and equity growth. It gets you other returns, right? You got tax breaks, you got depreciation. We're not talking about those though. Let's just focus solely on equity growth and cash flow. At the end of a year, you can go back and look at what it's created for you, and you have a certain amount of capital that you gained from your cash flow and your equity growth, and it may or may not be enough that you could take that out and buy another property. You might have to wait a second or third year, but once you have enough income and capital resources, you now duplicate, and it's not tied to time, right? You're not putting in more hours, you just have another asset. Now you're creating twice as much income, twice as much equity growth. I could do it again and get 4 assets working for me, and do it again and get 8 assets working for me, and 16 and 32, and I could go on and on and on, but I can now do this as many times as I want without any sort of cap or limitation. This is another reason why I love passive income. Another reason why passive income is amazing, something that we should all be very aware of, is the freedom and the flexibility to live and work wherever you want. One thing that's happened since the pandemic is there's millions of people now that can live and work remotely with their jobs, which is great. So there are a lot of people right now that are moving. They're leaving states that they're not happy in, and they're moving to states that they want to be in. And we're seeing a large population migration, and we have other videos of talking about this right now. You could take that another step further. Even with those jobs, you got to be somewhere that makes sense for remote working. You got to have internet access and certain things. So you can't just go live on a remote desert island if that's your goal. When you have passive income sources, right, a rental property that's managed by a professional management team, you can go out and go wherever you want and live and work and do whatever you want anywhere you want, because that income source is not tied to where your location is. And that's another thing that I love about passive income. Leveraging the expertise of other people. This is another reason why I love passive income, because at a job, leveraging the expertise of other people is sometimes actually looked or frowned upon. Let's just say your job, your boss comes to you and says, here's what you have to do, here's your stuff, and go do it. And you tell your boss, I don't know anything about any of that, right? I don't know how to do that. I don't know processes. I've got to go study and educate. He's going to say, well, I got to go get a new employee then, because you don't know what I need you to do. In real estate, right, it's the opposite. If I don't know something about, let's just say, leveraging, I don't have to go know everything there is about leveraging. I go find a lender who wants to be involved with me and helping me build my portfolio, and he's going to show me everything I need to know about leveraging. And he wants to, because he knows the better I get at it, the more loans I'm going to ask him to write for me, so he's going to make more money and create more income for himself and his business. Same thing about insurance. If I don't understand everything about it, and I'm going to leverage the expertise of an insurance expert who wants to be in this field and wants to be partnering. And we've already done this as a rent-to-retirement community. You guys know we have access to lenders that you guys can work with that aren't just great lenders with great rates, but they want to be working with investors. They want to help you. They want to teach you things. This is something they want, right? This is their business model. It's not just some random major conglomerate out there just saying, yeah, stamp it out. Let's just stamp out loan after loan after loan, and they don't want to talk to you. These are individuals that want to help you, because they know the more they help you, the more you're going to get you want. And I love that about passive income. All the partners that we help create for you guys, they want you to succeed. The more you succeed, the more they succeed. It's a simple arrangement here. And so I love that about passive income. When you're at a job, it's not always the same. There's people that don't want you to get ahead because you're taking opportunities away from them and management and growth. And it's not always the same scenario of everybody in it to win it, right? In it to win it. everybody. And I love that about passive income. One of the other reasons why I love passive income is it reduces your stress and anxiety and fear of the future. This is something that we don't always talk about because real estate and investing is often centered around numbers. So it's always about the ROI, the cap, the return and cash flow, and we're always focused on numbers, bed and baths and square footage, and sometimes we get hyper focused on just numbers. We just forget about just life, right? Anxiety, fear. What are we fearful of? We're fearful of the future. What if, right? This is just natural, right? If you go back far enough to caveman days, let's just go back far enough in history, fear, where did it come from? Why do we as a human race have fear? And if you go back far enough, it's just a natural instinct to keep you alive, right? One of the kids shows that my kids love is called The Croods, right? If you guys ever go watch it, great little show. Nicolas Cage, it's a great little show. But one thing that you learn as you're watching this is that they stay in the cave to be safe. When the creatures, monsters, saber-toothed tigers are out there, right? Stay in the cave, you'll be safe. I know it's a silly little analogy, but there's a lot of truth behind that thought. If we use fear to keep us in the cave, we will never get to where we want. And unfortunately, there's a lot of fear out there in our country today. In our society, there's a lot of people that want you to be fearful, and you don't have to be fearful. If you have enough assets that are creating enough income for you that you don't have to worry about how you're paying for your next meal, are you as fearful as you are today? I would venture to say you will not be. Your anxiety will be less, your stress will be less, your health will be better. So funny enough, by creating more financial security in your life, by creating more passive income in your life, you're actually helping your health as well. And it's not just your physical health, it's your emotional health. To create an intentional lifestyle, they require all those things. You've got to be happy, healthy, and you've got to have your wits about you. And if all you're doing is worrying about what if my boss fires me tomorrow? What if I can't afford to do this? What if the economy changes? What if politically something happens and it affects me? What if? We all do it, you guys. There's no reason to avoid it. We all have that built into us. But if you allow yourself to create passive income, and that passive income gets to a source where you don't have to worry about that stress and that fear and that anxiety anymore, how will your life be then, right? It's one of the other reasons why I love passive income. You won't have to deal with tenants, toilets, or trash. I know this kind of sounds funny when we're talking about rental income, but a lot of people think if you self-manage, you're still you're a passive income investor, but you're not, you're active. If you are the type of person that has rental properties and you manage it yourself, you are active. You're not passive yet. Take it one step further. Get a property management team in place. And here's why. If you want to duplicate, you can't not do that when you manage yourself. Let's again go back to the math. If you are leasing your own property, that means you got to show it. So you got time involved there. You got to write the lease, right? So there's more time involved. You've got to go to maintenance calls when those come up. So there's more time involved. And I could go on and on and on, but you guys know where I'm going here. If you have 30 of these, can you really do that? Well, you probably could, but you got a job. You just bought yourself a job. You're not working for somebody else now. You're working for yourself. That's great. That's another step towards financial independence, but it's not where you need to be in the ultimate goal, which is passive, right? If you get to the point where your property managers are taking care of all that for you, you can get 30 of them. You can get 60 of them. You can get 120 of them. You can get as many as you want because you're not limited now based on that time and that energy. We're kind of duplicating ourselves on the reasons here, but it's just a little bit of a different philosophy as far as tenants, toilets, and trash versus active income. But you've got to learn how to buy your time back. Passive income allows you to do that.
Thanks for watching the Rent to Retirement YouTube channel. Check out some of our other videos, like this one, or this one here.